Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome back to Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. Do not be fooled by that fancy name. It's just me and some friends talking about baseball cards. And so the story for this show is that at the National, I purchased a really cool, super rare card from the great dealer Philip Gary and sent it off to CGC to be authenticated because they wouldn't grade the card, and it's a story I'll get into a little bit later. But I got the card back recently, and the card is of a obscure player. Now, you know me, I like those obscure players. But what's great about this particular player is that he may have made the greatest catch in World Series history. And let me set the stage for you. It's the Brooklyn Dodgers. They're in the 1947 World Series. They were in the 41 World Series. They had never won a World Series before. They wouldn't win in 47, but so it's game 6 of the 1947 World Series. The Dodgers are trailing 3-2 in the series, and they're leading 8-5. And it's late in the game. The Yankees have 2 runners on, and Joe DiMaggio steps up to the plate. And Joe DiMaggio hits a ball that either was going to be a home run or was close to being a home run, unclear. But this man, Al Gionfriddo, makes the catch, saves the game, and sends the series essentially into a game 7, which unfortunately the Yankees won, if you're a Dodger fan. But it was regarded as the greatest catch in World Series history for many years. And for good merit, and we'll see it in just a second. I'll play the video in a second. But what's amazing about it is Gionfriddo was sort of a marginal player. He'd come up during the war, played during the war years for Pittsburgh, and then got traded to the Dodgers and was like a 3rd or 4th outfielder. And as it turns out, game 6 of the 1947 World Series, he didn't play in game 7, was his last game in the major leagues. He went on to play in the minor leagues for a few years. He played for the Montreal Royals, and he also went down and played in Cuba, which will be where we see the card that I got later on. But let me share my screen here, and we'll take a look at the catch itself, which is pretty freaking cool. This is from the MLB Network, and it's only a short clip. It's only 33 seconds, so let's play this now.
Pitching for Brooklyn in the Yankees' 6th, with runners on 1st and 2nd and 2 men away. DiMaggio smashes a long drive into deep left field. Gionfriddo, after a desperate twisting run to the 415-foot marker, makes a sensational gloved hand catch of DiMaggio's terrific wallop. This greatest of all World Series outfield catches stopped a sure home run.
So there you go. I've seen that clip, and undoubtedly baseball fans have seen that clip many times. Ah. Whoops. So anyway, what that clip is known for mostly is Joe DiMaggio kicking the dirt between 2nd and 3rd base because he's upset that this apparently game-tying home run was caught. And if you know DiMaggio was very much a didn't show emotion kind of guy, very cool, calm, collected. And this kick in the dirt thing was like the only time he showed any real emotion on the baseball field. And people have recognized that as being a unique situation, but it called for it. I mean, he was about to tie the game up to potentially win the World Series, and they would have win eventually, but at that time he didn't know that. So Gionfriddo's catch, there it is, and it's a great, it's just a great baseball history moment, and for all those reasons. But I'm going to play another clip, and this one is great because this one is from a movie. The Jackie Robinson movie 42 came out, about, I don't know, 2012 or something like that. It's been a while, but I recently saw it on a plane. I'd seen it, a number of times on HBO or whatever, but it was available on a plane, so I watched it for a long flight. So I watched the whole movie, and there's this little Easter egg that comes up. And if you know, Kirby Higby was the pitcher for the Dodgers, who had been a solid pitcher over the years, but was from the South, Georgia, I think. And he was part of the group of people who signed the petition that they didn't want to play with Robinson. So Higby is portrayed in the movie as one of the bad guys, and in fact, he was a bad guy, so not a particularly unfair portrayal. But what happens to Higby is that in the middle of the season, they traded him, and they traded him to Pittsburgh for Al Gionfriddo. So let me play the section of this video here, and you'll see why I found it quite amusing when I was seeing this on the plane watching the movie.
I can't believe it. I speak my mind and they trade me. This ain't the America I know. Home of the free, land of the brave. You hear me? What are they sending you, Hake? Pittsburgh. For cash and some Italian outfielder named Gionfriddo.
So there it is. Oh man, love that. So Italian named Gionfriddo. So it sounds like two persons' names, Johnfrido or whatever, but are a full name. But it's actually his last name is spelled Gionfriddo, Al Gionfriddo. And it's true. He was the guy that came in. And what's the Easter egg about that is that Gionfriddo came in, became friends with Jackie Robinson. He was a part-time fourth or fifth outfielder who ended up making this amazing catch in the World Series. So it's kind of like when they make the movie, they know that if you name Gionfriddo in the movie, if people are paying attention, they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. So I thought that was a really cool Easter egg in that movie. But so Gionfriddo is an interesting character. He is it's not Jackie Robinson is the subject of this movie, and the racism that he suffered is obviously the main point of the movie and historically significant. But Gionfriddo also had suffered some indignities as a result of being an Italian. Now, he was the son of two Sicilian immigrants. They came to the United States. They met in the United States, his parents. They lived in a town in central Pennsylvania, maybe hour east of Pittsburgh. His father worked in the mines. They were working people, and the large part of the place where he came up was Italian and Italian immigrants. So there was a certain amount of bias about that. But he went on, and he and his brother became baseball players, and they were really good players. And he played locally with Pittsburgh, and he actually ended up signing and playing for the Pirates as a major leaguer. And then ultimately went to the Dodgers, never made it back into the major leagues after that amazing catch. So he was a person who himself had suffered from bigotry. So when he went to Cuba, he played in integrated games with his teammates for the team, and I'll show you the card in a little bit. He played for the Almandares Scorpions. His teammates included Monty Irvin and Sam Jethro, and so both of them would ultimately go on to play in the major leagues. So Gionfriddo is a historical character. He is a heroic character. And let me show you some stuff. So after all this comes together, and what does this have to do with baseball cards? Well, I ended up going out and buying this because I wanted it in my collection. It is a signed picture of Gionfriddo making the catch, and it's the after part of the catch. He's sort of falling into the fence there in left center field in Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you could see it, but this is really cool. Let me see if I can show it. Let me get me a there's a guy, you see him right where my face would be, who's got this look on his face with the, oh, I love that part of this picture. So he played so little in the major leagues that he doesn't really have any baseball cards. In fact, he has no flagship cards, but he does have one card. And if you're familiar with it, so yeah, I got this before we get onto the cards. I got this picture. Gionfriddo went on to be a person who showed up at a lot of card shows in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And he died in 2003, so even into the 90s. He was a ambassador for. He lived in San Diego. He worked on a golf course. He was involved in his community. He's a good guy, basically. And so he would show up at these card shows. Brooklyn Dodgers were favorites at a lot of these card shows, and he signed a ton of these. So I got this off of eBay for, I don't know, $14.99 or something, but getting the Gionfriddo signed photo of the moment of his life that he's most well known for, I think is pretty cool. And at the bottom of it says, Brooklyn outfielder Al Gionfriddo has just made his spectacular catch of Joe DiMaggio's bid for a 3-run game-tying home run in the 6th game of the 1947 World Series at Yankee Stadium. So there you go. So cards. All right. So doesn't have any flagship cards. He's not in the 48 Bowman set. He wasn't on the 48 roster for the Dodgers. He's not in the 49 Bowman set. He was playing in Montreal at the time. He does have a card, and you can see it on the left there. It is what's known as the Swell Thrills or the Sports Thrills. It's the Swell Bubblegum Sports Thrills set. It's a mixture of different cards, but they're not of the players themselves. They're of the moment. So there's a Jackie Robinson card in this set. There's a Bob Feller card for strikeout records. It's an interesting set. It's not a particularly rare set. It's also not a particularly well-known set. But this one is Sports Thrills, Highlights in the World of Sports, and it's called Greatest Catch. So as you can see from my thumbnail, my question is this the greatest catch in World Series history? Well, according to the 1947 or 48, Sports Thrills, it is, in fact, the greatest catch. So they describe on the back, it looks very much, let me see if I can show this up front. You see the back here. It's very much looks like, the play ball cards from earlier in the 40s. It's got, the advertising for Swell Bubblegum, and it's got a full description of Al Gionfriddo's catch. And so that's really the only card he has, except for, and there it is on the right. So the story here is that the Almandares Scorpions had a booklet that came out in 1948/49. And in the booklet were each member of the team. And what happened was Phil Gary took out the individual pages of the booklet for Monty Irvin, Sam Jethro. I forget, there's one other player in there, and put them in a Hake's auction, and they did really, really well. But then at the National, Phil had the rest of the booklets, and I went through, and I found the Gionfriddo card, and I said, damn, Gionfriddo, I know who that is. And it sort of opened this door for me to look back on the catch and see if it had any of the cards and get the picture. And, and then I saw, I bought this at the National. The trip that I went on with the plane ride was in August. So I saw that reference to Gionfriddo in the 42 movie after I'd already bought the card. But the card was at CGC. Now, CGC recently publicized that they're going to have they're going to get the large holders, because they didn't really have large holders. And that's part of the reason it took quite a long time for this to come back. I gave it to them at the National. I got it back in sometime in November. So it was 3 or 4 months, but it's in a very large, really nice, let me bring this up here. Really nice holder. They do have, it's nice, solid plastic. So as you can see, it's got some registration issues, but there he is, Al Gionfriddo, playing for Almandares. And on the back, in Spanish, is the bio for Hector Rodriguez, Al, and then Monty Irvin. So there you go. Monty Irvin was in this book also. This is a card done by Trinidad E. Hano, which is a Tobacco Company. And so this card is a Pop 1. There are no other graded examples of this card. I know that there are other ungraded examples of this card because I did some searches, and over the years there are some booklets have surfaced and they've been broken up and they've sold in auctions. So Gionfriddo, Cuba card, Pop 1, fantastic. And you know, like all these cards, they open up stories. And when they open up stories that can make me go back and look at a movie, look at old film clips, read about history, and understand why this player is important, not only for one play, but for just how good of a guy he was over the years and how he was a great teammate to Jackie Robinson, and how ultimately he went down and played integrated baseball down in Cuba. And just a great story. So thank you for the comments on my last video about the 1905 Rotograph card, when I asked you to comment about whether or not you wanted me to do more of these historical videos. And yeah, you said yes. Nobody said no. So thank you for those comments. It really means a lot to me. And it makes me feel like what I'm doing with this channel is in fact important. And it has a place on the YouTube sports card universe, so to speak. So anyway, folks, wanted to do a midweek video because on this weekend, I'm going down to Philly on Saturday. A couple of things about that. I'm going to be on Hobby Hotline just as a call-in from the floor of the show. So I'm looking forward to that between 11 and 12 on the 4 Collectors Network. And also, please, if you go to the Philly show on Saturday, stick around. At 5 o'clock, go over to the Hilton Gardens Hotel. We will be doing the get-together. It has been put together by Ray from Philly and Coach Cardboard Neil, and they've done a terrific job, and they've done some videos about it. I'll link to those below. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to show cards. The great thing about this one is that CAA Auctions is buying the food. So Thea will be there. Jeremy Dotson will be there. It'll be a lot of fun. So if you're at the Philly show, please go to the Hilton Gardens for the get-together. And that's it. So we'll see you back here. I think my video for the show, I'm going to be staying overnight Saturday. I'll be back in New York on Sunday. So I hope to do the video for my Philly show experience on Sunday. So we will see you then.